What's going on, everybody? Truffles here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Ridge. Today we have another 10 bourbons that are coming to the market that you need to keep your eye out for. Let's get right into it. All right, you guys know the drill at this point. We got a lot of bourbons. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So first up on the list, Barrel Bourbon. They're dropping a couple of bottles that are on this list. This first one, Barrel Bourbon Cask Finish Series Ice Wine. I had to look up what ice wine was. I had no idea. But basically it's wine that they have to harvest when the grape is frozen on the vine. So I'm pretty sure that's not easy to do, or it doesn't yield that much wine. So it's a pretty sought after wine, not easy to do, very expensive, and it's supposedly very sweet. So it'll be interesting to see how a bourbon finished in a super sweet wine barrel will be. But I've loved everything Barrel has been putting out. They're just so enjoyable. The Mizunara cask was so good, just knocking these out of the park. What do they say on the tag here? The Barrel Craft blending team took the same meticulous approach in carefully selecting barrels and creating a blend of mash bills and ages to harmonize with the intense sweetness, rich texture, and lively acidity of the ice wine. Resulting bourbon is bright and complex with a rich body and notes of stone fruit and white chocolate. Very interesting, white chocolate, there we go. The blend component's pretty interesting. They got a 5 and 8 year old Kentucky in there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11 year old Indiana. Okay, just blend them all in there, but that's crazy. 9 and 15 year old Tennessee and a 9 year old Wyoming. 9 year old Wyoming, huh? It's very interesting. And one of those was definitely had some wheat in it. Look, it's a 4 grain mash bill with 1% wheat. So that's gonna be pretty dang interesting if you ask me. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a feeling that's going to be pretty good. So let's move on to the other one they have. Is a little early. I mean, it'll be here before we know it. Their New Year Bourbon. They've been doing this a couple of years, and they're always crazy. Like, the blend components in them are just, they're insane. It's just everything. Let's just freaking put everything in it. So, I mean, look at the breakdown on this. A 5, 6, 7, 11, and 12 year old Indiana, 5, 6, and 9 year old Kentucky, 8, 9, and 15 Tennessee. There's some more of that Wyoming, 9 and a 12 year old Wyoming. Huh. 5 year old New York, a 5 year old Texas, a 5 year old Ohio, and a 6 and 7 year old Maryland. Just the mother of blending things together. So it'll be interesting. The last year's was pretty freaking good to me. The thing is when you start seeing these huge blend components of just everything, it's kind of like, is it gonna get too messy? Is it just a mess, a jumbled mess of just everything? Does it really have an identity of any of those things? I think they're pretty good at making something have its own identity. So this New Year Bourbon comes out being its own thing. They do pretty good. So I'm excited to see how that one's gonna turn out. All right, let's keep it rolling. Here we go. Heaven Hill Heritage Collection. These guys, they've been putting out a lot of these Heritage Collection bottles. They're pretty pricey, but they're dropping pretty crazy statistics with them. This is a 19 year old, 122 proof Kentucky straight wheat whiskey. So that's crazy. We're, you know, wheat whiskey, but it's a 51% wheat, 37% corn, 12% malted barley. So a barely legal wheat whiskey, but I always think the crazy things about them is putting those out at the proofs they do. So 122 proof at 19 years old, it's just, you don't see that, you know? If someone's putting out that high age of stuff, it's usually, they usually water it down so they can stretch how much of it they can put out, but here, you know, Heaven Hill has the power to say, we're doing this. So that's gonna be interesting. You know, I'll probably maybe never even see one of these like most people, but I don't know, some people get these, man. They get them pretty, I would maybe not easily, but they're pretty expensive if you can get them. But hopefully you have friends with a lot of money. Let's move on. Let's keep it rolling. Here's another interesting little thing out of Bardstown Bourbon Company. Bardstown they're consistently on these lists. And if you even think about it, there's a lot of brands that are in basically every single video like this we've done. It's because they're just dropping label after label after label. It's just insane. Bardstown Bourbon Company, this is part of the collaborative series with Bourbon Lore, Kentucky Straight Whiskey. The Bourbon Lore collaboration draws inspiration from the American whiskey tradition to celebrate the past, present, and future of America's spirit. So this is 54% of this blend is a 10-year-old Kentucky bourbon. You got 22% of this is from Green River, specifically 7-year-old. 14% of it is Bardstown's own stuff, their 7-year stuff, and then another 10% of this is a 12-year-old Kentucky, different mash bill. So, you know, I'm no expert on the mash bills. I say this every time, but 2 different mash bills. So, supposedly, I'm guessing 2 different Kentucky distillers going into that. But 112.5 proof. I mean, come on, Bardstown. It's so good. Again, a little pricey. I mean, these bottles they're up there, you know, but they're good. They're good. All right, speaking of a little bit expensive, a little bit pricey, I bet you this one will be. This is Whistle Pig Snout to Tail 10-year-old bourbon. This is a toasted barrel. What I'm gathering is, let's just read it and try and piece this together, because they use a lot of marketing, just fluffy words in here. Snout to Tail Bourbon is a one-of-a-kind expression of our whole-hogged commitment to crafting whiskeys bigger, bolder, and better than generations past. 10 years worth of complex flavors are doubled down and turned up, like turn down, turn up, let's turn up. Turned up during secondary barrel aging with our experimental 2-headed toast. So, okay, we'll try and decipher this. Each barrel head brings distinct toasted notes to round out the character of this palate-pleasing straight bourbon whiskey from snout to tail. So, the secondary barrel aging. So, they put it in another barrel which has 2 different toasted heads. So one of the heads, you know, the snout has one, you know, something particular toasting, and then the other side, the tail, has a different one. And they 100-degree barrel age, like they're flipping it around. Like, I don't know what all is going on with that. But it sounds interesting. It sounds like, I don't know, like how much of that is just gimmicky, like why are we flipping the barrel around? I don't, like how much does that play a part? I don't know. It sounds fun. It looks cool, I like the label, but I bet you it's gonna be pretty pricey. At least 100 bones, you know? 10-year-old bourbon, double oak, flipping barrels and crap. Yeah, I bet it'll be expensive. It sounds, I wanna try it. So 102 proof, we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. I don't know about that. So, all right, let's move on. We're gonna be moving on to another brand who makes all of these lists, and they have 3 bottles back to back to back right here that we're gonna be talking about. First one is this. 2 of these bottles are part of the Estate Collection. Penelope Private Select Annual Release explores new and unique expressions of our straight bourbon whiskey blends using the finest our-aged barrel stocks. So you're gonna see these on these estate collections, they're usually their older stuff. So this blend, this one is a 9-year-old blend, straight bourbon whiskey, 104 proof, and this is a 4 grain, so it's got some wheat in there, non-chill filtered. I mean, there's not much to say other than this is going to be delicious. Simple put, Penelope, 9-year-old, 4-grain whiskey. In fact, I've tried one of their 9-year things. It was a 4-grain, and it was freaking fantastic. Amazing, delicious, just out of this world good. But the next bottle, moving straight into it since there's 3 of them, is another estate collection, this time 10-year-old single barrel, 100 proof, and this is just a regular 3-grain bourbon mash bill, corn, malted barley, and rye. Each barrel, unique in profiles, hand-selected from various warehouses and floors after a decade of aging. I want this. I need this. This is gonna be freaking good. So, and finally, moving right along to the 3rd bottle from Penelope is their Penelope blend of straight whiskeys, F Cancer. That's all it is to it. The label is cool. I love all the ribbons. You know, I feel like majority of you guys watching this have known, have lost someone to some form of cancer. So this is really cool thing that they're doing for that. And on the back it says, cancer impacts us all. In recognition of its widespread effects, Penelope Bourbon proudly presents the 3rd F Cancer release. This special edition supports the fight against cancer and honors everyone touched by this relentless disease. Celebrate with survivors, stand with those still battling, and remember loved ones lost. Let each pour be a tribute to resilience, courage, and hope for a future without cancer. F Cancer. It is another just standard old, it's a high rye mash bill, so it'll be interesting to see how that one is. This one also is pretty interesting too, is that this is distilled in Indiana and Kentucky. So there's more than just MGP stuff in this, other stuff. So that'll be pretty cool to see what the blend is, like what went into this blend, because it also does say blend of straight whiskeys. So I don't know, that could mean there could be rye in there. It's not bourbon, not just bourbon, you know, it could be other stuff in there. So that'll be interesting. I'm really excited to try this, if I can try it, but I just think it's so cool that they're doing that. It's really, really cool of them to do that. So, and I love the thing on the back. This is class. That is class. All right, holy crap, how many? We got 2 more. Let's just move on. Let's just get straight on into it and, you know, see what these guys are. Next up, Bulleit Bourbon, very special bottling. Frontier whiskey, bottled in bond. From the 2017 distillation series. So, quick math, 7 years old, bottled in bond, something like that. This is really cool. I also put this on here because the back of the label says distilled by Bulleit Frontier Whiskey. I don't know if all of their stuff was, but I'm pretty sure they were sourcing from MGP at one point in time. I don't know if this was just a rumor back in the day that they were, some of Bulleit stuff, picks or single barrels or something were coming from Four Roses. I don't know, could be, doesn't matter because this bottle is their own stuff. Hopefully that it's gonna be another standard offering. You know, I get it. A lot of people like going for the next rare special thing, but you know, most of us can't get those and won't get those. So I think it's cool to see brands putting out other mainstay things that are going to be on the shelf that you will see this in this video and you'll walk by the store and be like, oh, hey, I heard Trev talk about that. There it is. It's a new thing I can try. It's a new thing I can get. If I really like it, guess what? I can go back and get it. So I just like them adding things to their portfolio, things for us to try. There they go again. 120 calories per 1.5 fluid ounces. Come on, man. Don't remind me of all the calories we're drinking. All right, and we made it to the last bottle. One that I am super stoked for. Saved one of the coolest for last. You know how it is. We've got to make you wait. Four Roses single barrel. Okay. You're like, whoa, Trev, what is Four Roses single barrel? That already exists. Yeah. They changed the recipe. OESO. I forgot what what the original mainstay on the shelf Four Roses single barrel is. OBS, OES, whatever. So many of them, but to see an OESO, I believe, and I don't know if there's much information on this right now, if this is just gonna be a limited thing, or if it's gonna be an expansion. You know, they'll have a Four Roses single barrel with this recipe, have a Four Roses single barrel with that recipe, and they're just always there. Or if they're just widening the portfolio and just putting more and more of this stuff out. You know, they did the little taster thing where you get, it's like samples of all 10 of the recipes. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Time will tell the impact of this, how much it's going to be there, but it's here. This is a step. This is a step in a new direction. I would like to see these recipes coming to the market more so as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a controlled manner, where like Four Roses is, we're bottling this, it's on the shelf, Four Roses single barrel, versus hunting down the recipes from private selects. So people doing a store pick, they're saying, yeah, we're doing a Four Roses store pick, and they're going after like specific recipes, right? So there's some people trying to collect all 10 recipes. They can't ever get one because they never find one, you know? So hopefully this is introducing more, I guess, controlled releases of the recipes in full bottle forms that people can get. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see what else. Maybe we'll start seeing more and more and more of these recipes coming out. So there's that. So there we have it. We made it to the end. Those are 10 new bottles coming. Keep your eyes peeled. Good luck, everyone. I hope we all get some good bourbon. I'm excited for a lot of these. Some of these we won't get. You know the drill. Go out there, enjoy hunting, enjoy drinking what you do find. Like, subscribe, comment down below which one of these you're excited for. Join the Bourbon Wrench Patreon. We have some crazy barrel picks coming for you guys. You don't want to miss out on them. Go support the channel, become a nerd. And until next time, I'm Trevor's, and I will see you guys in the next video.